So that also brings us to our question of the week. And I think this is a very poignant question to our discussion about disease prevention because this is one of the main factors that can cause Phytophthora, and that is having a too heavy soil. So the
Mhm.
question is, how do I lighten heavy soil or dense soil?
Yeah, we had a customer come in yesterday, and I ended up talking to her for quite some time that morning because she's like, "Okay, what's happening? All of my plants look terrible." And as we've talked about in this episode, that's basically what you're looking at for root rot.
Hmm.
They just start looking sad. They start falling over and dying. And so I ended up talking with her for a little bit. I was like, "Okay, when you pick it up, is it super super heavy?" And she's like, "Yes." I was like, "Okay, is it like heavily composted? Because this is also something to be aware of. Compost is a great additive. I am not saying that it is not. If you end up having too much compost, it holds a lot of water and you can run into these issues. And so
It can
basically,
go anaerobic very easy.
so quick. And so it's just something to be aware of. It just teaches you how to use compost, not saying don't use it at all. But her mix was too much compost. And so basically I was like, when you water, does it dry out or does it seem to never dry out? She's like, "Oh, it seems to never dry out." I was like, "Okay, I think we're onto the problem here. We have too much compost, we're holding too much water. So then what do you do next?" There's obviously a ton of options, that, but basically what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to add something that is drainage facilitating to that soil. Because I told her, I was like, if we have a root rot problem, you could try to limp your plants along, but honestly, it might not be worth the time. It might be worth, let's amend the soil and then go again. And so what she ended up taking was a product called Pro Mix, which is basically just peat moss and perlite. And that's
Hmm.
all there is to it, because both of those products make sure that you get good drainage. And I was like, just take your soil out of those pots, she puts it in a wheelbarrow. And I was like, you might even have to go to like a 50-50 mix of the Pro Mix to your compost to get it light enough so it's actually draining. But then in theory, you have functional soil again. That's all it takes. Just add some drainage.
That is a beauty of, this disease, that root rot, because if you let your soil dry out completely, it'll basically kill the disease. It just has to have been dried out completely. If it stays in that anaerobic state, it'll never go away. It'll just stay in that compost or in that soil. Um, I know that there can still be some spores and then come back and stuff like that. But as a whole, if you let your soil dry out, even mixing it with the soil that she has, it doesn't mean she's automatically reinoculating as long as that soil can start drying out on a consistent basis. So yeah, mixing with something like that, adding perlite, if
Cocoa
you're
fiber.
cocoa. There's a lot of different things that you can add to your soil. But yeah, the main thing would be amend your soil in a way that is adding aeration, that is adding drainage. You can even go as far as like LECA or, what do they call it?
Hydrogen or
Hydrogen,
expanded clay
expanded clay
pebbles. They're called
pebbles,
all kinds of things.
or some, like, they have a really small lava rock that's very
Hmm.
similar.
Pumice
All of
works
those,
there.
pumice stone, all of those things will help uh, build an aerated mix that'll let your soil dry out between waterings, which is very important for preventing diseases. So yeah,
Yes, it is.
that is how you lighten heavy soil.